Speaking of creation,
You have to mention
mention the rescue of the Jews. During the rescue, why did Jews believe that God exists? For thousands of years, they are all supported as God's only choice. What makes them believe God will grant them justice, peaceful, beautiful, and happy home? All these problems, the answer can be found in the Bible. Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about standard creation. Also answer the questions in the hearts of the audience. A lot of people are thinking about a question. Why has the West for thousands of years always believed that God is real? What has God ever done? That's what makes them so convinced. Or if God is real, where is he, and who has seen him? If he is the creator, this world was created by him. Can you let him thunder and rain? Show the so-called world. If he can't do any of the above, why should he make others believe that God exists? Good for so many confidence. Today, we will talk about the Rescue Bible. Before I speak, let me remind the audience has questioned God. A monarch hostile to the Jews. They were wiped out. That's actually the reason why the Bible has become the main belief just because God appeared to his people more than once. And I don't have any major beliefs. But how about religion? It's always good to be in awe. Now, let me explain the covenant between God and man. The Bible story has many chapters, but his order is not out of order. All the myths and legends in the world, there is a strange phenomenon. It's chaos. The older the story, the more versions there are. There are also a lot of people who comment on it. The Bible is a unique entity. The story sequence is particularly clear. They don't get any points. Open heaven creates. Man, human breach of the great flood. Received protection from superiors default again. Received asylum again. Finally, it connects with human history. The order is seamless. Is he here? It records the creation of all things and the creation of man in mythology. The ancient era of the last great flood of man and God. After separation, people who exist in history also appear. Therefore, the Bible and history can be perfectly integrated. Important limitations emerged in history. Countless people have witnessed miracles with their own eyes. Jews believe that God is the real reason for existence. Because in the long river of history, God is all right in front of their people. Manifestation. Just save them. The purpose of writing paintings is also to make the Jews must abide by the contract. Make them believe they are the only ones chosen by God. This is also unique to the Bible. So our next story, based on the Old Testament, I won't explain it to you in this video because Judaism does not recognize the status of Christianity. It is believed that Jesus did not lead the Jewish family towards the prophecy of a peaceful world. And Jesus' Christianity accepted foreigners. This is something that God would not agree to. God will only help. His only obsession. Is there anyone who is interested? I will also do a special issue. The video explains to you. It was at the beginning of the century. The universe is stored in chaos. God created heaven and earth. The sky is dark. Float. God said, let there be light. From then on, the light and dark, day and night, the sky above the sea. The clouds are all over the sky. The mountains rise above the water. A vast plain extends below. The earth is covered with green shade. Tree business is thriving, but the earth lacks intelligent life. God continued to use his creative power. Different fish have appeared in the vast ocean. Birds of various colors swim in the sky. So far, the superior said, then follow your own enough. Created the first human, Adam. Limus part. We have explained in detail in previous videos. Recount it here. Those who are interested can go back and have a look. And here we have a digression. Now, many people believe in unification. Think that people all over the world created by one person. When we talk about alien creation speaking theory, of NG and Enigma, I mean if NG is Foxy, the people of the whole world may be the same group of gods. Were created by the same God. After Lilith left, God could sense Adam's loneliness. He took one of Adam's ribs, created Eve. Then God arranged for them to live in the Garden of Eden, living a life of freedom like a paradise. But God forbid Adam and Eve go to the Garden of Eden and steal the fruit of the tree of wisdom. The fallen angel of rebellion turned into a venomous snake. Lured Eve to pluck the fruit of wisdom. Eve shared the fruit with Adam. From then on, we can discern between good with the concept of human ethics. When God knows, the two are banned. After gaining wisdom, they were expelled from the Garden of Eden. This section we were in, also in artificial intelligence explained in detail. It will no longer be subdivided. Adam and Eve, who were expelled from the Garden of Eden, live together on the ground. They multiply. Instructions are coming in. The insidious cunning of human nature begins to be revealed. Some people kill their loved ones out of jealousy to get a spouse. Those who kill their comrades have become corrupt. Wailing all summer. Like hell. God witnessed the ugliness of human beings, decided to plan the land with floods. But for those innocent creatures, he couldn't bear it. So, picked one of the kind, people named Noah, entrusted him to build a huge ship. And Noah took his family. The seeds of the plant, livestock, and poultry, beasts and many other paired items were brought on the ark. Floods come with stones. Noah, who believes in God, he saved his family and many animals, but more creatures, and the descendants of many angels. But I can't bear the pouring rain for 40 days and nights. Floods also submerge the highest mountains, except for life on Noah's everything Ark. Else dies. Noah's Ark carrying the Queen of God, wandering on the endless Wang Yang. I don't know how long it's been. The world has been cleaned and purified for so long. God has finally quelled his anger. When Noah came to the deck of the Ark, watching the flood fade away, a new era has begun, and Noah's descendants will start life anew on this land. God is reconciled with the creatures led by Noah. God also asked Noah, humans cannot continue to degenerate in the future. To bear witness to these contracts, humans must have faith. And the prerequisites for opening up faith, there must be someone who can hear the call of God and can follow him devoutly and firmly. He wants to lead the surviving humans. Eternal Western God. It is precisely because of this different times one will appear, a very important prophet in Judaism, high priest, or fact. Man's first covenant with God. As time goes by, got another Barbie tower with the people. Offended God. God messed up the human language. People don't understand the language. They spread out and developed civilization. In this previous video, it was explained in detail. I won't repeat it here. If you are interested, you can watch past videos. And the above stories are all mythological works. After the myth is over, it's the historical story that connects. Many years later, in a wilderness, a man named Jabra Khan appeared. This is also to put aside the first prophet in history to speak to God. God allowed him to lead his people to the promised land of Canaan, to build a strong and happy country. He will also become the true father of the great nation. And when he's done with that, who will make his descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky? Muse for culture's dumb Rayan. Come home excited. Find wife Sarah. Then he called his nephew Rhodes. Tell them, God will guide them to a new home. That Yabrahan, because there are no children. I value this nephew more, and in this day and age, the migration of a family is also of great significance. But for the sake of future generations, for the sake of descendants as numerous as Yabalahan's wife, Sarah supported his decision. Although nephew Rhodes' wife Gili Juzi, he still decided to go with his uncle. From then on, they brought their families with them. Began the long trek, Changxi all the way. It was tough. Conflicts within the group also continued after arriving in the south. The nephew side thinks this place is too small. It's impossible to satisfy everyone. So until the people of Rhodes fighting with Abraham's men, it's populated. Territory, lack of food, small, and other reasons. Rod's wife suggested, get out of here with your family. Facing the anger of his wife and the demands of his finally informed Jabra Khan, they want to get out of here. There was no such thing under Jabra Khan's knees at that time. Rod grew up with him. So, Rod, when it's time to really Jabra Khan is like an aging father, looking at the nephew and others who are gradually drifting away. At this moment, his heart is why did God come to the promised land? But I can't even protect my own family. How should I go myself? How about being the father of a great country? However, after a brief moment he still believed in the God he believed in. After that, God fought in a battle, helped him save his nephew Rhodes, who left Canaan Rhodes at that tied up by a powerful alien. After Yabalahan communicated led the minority God to defeat the powerful and a large number of foreigners, God has manifested himself again, saved his family, but not until Rod, still unwilling to follow him home to Antarctica. Abraham's heart was undoubtedly very sad. He always regarded this Rhodes as his own, so many times to retain. He didn't even want to go back into the pack. This is also unacceptable to Yabra Khan. The most important thing is, Rod doesn't share his beliefs. Even though God has appeared before him, he still feels that God is an unreal existence. So mute, Rayan went back to camp. At night, he was alone, looking at the stars in the sky. He also wants to talk to God again. Ask God what he has promised you. When will it be fulfilled? When can I let my children and grandchildren, as many as the stars? On the other hand, his wife Sarah Jabelinham wanted very much to have a child, but he was sterile. Failure to meet each other's expectations. So Sarah came up with a solution. Let her maid marry and have sex with her husband. This has been the same for 14 years. Leftover women gave birth to a son for Abraham, and he named it Ismaili. A child is born, someone is happy, and I'm sure everyone will understand. And sad Sarah, suddenly, one day, saw the messenger of God. This messenger is an angel incarnate. He told Sarah, God has promised that your child will be born soon. You have to remember to name him Evil and Laughter. The superiors don't like your crying. The messenger of the rumor found Abraham and told him to go to Sodoma, because the people there are erotic and lewd. They are not afraid of same-sex love. The whole city is filled with sinful desires. This is also an obscenity that God cannot look directly at. We're going to that city to subdue the divine law. Abraham was stunned to hear that, because his nephew Rod lives in Sodoma. He begged the angel to spare his nephew. Facing mute Rahan's words, God asked the angel to tell him, just the whole city of Sodoma. There are 10 kind people. He will pardon Sodom. Without 10 good people, he will also serve his nephew. Set an exclusive test. The whole city of Sodoma. It is recorded in the Bible that passers-by walking on the street are not choosing robbery their clothes or violation of women. Imperial court, and it happens every day on the streets. You can't find 10 nice people in the whole city. But Abraham's nephew survived the test of angels with a kind heart. Angels also follow the promise. With his nephew Rhodes, he began to flee Sodom, escaping town. The messengers incarnated by two angels. In front of everyone, two huge fireballs fell from the sky. The fireball killed all the bandits in the way. But when they arrived at the city gate, the messenger told Sodoma that he was about to lower the God vow. You must not look back on the city of sin. If you look back, prove that there is still a desire in your heart that is God will punish you immediately. But Rod's wife couldn't hold back. He glanced back greedily. Instantly, white eyes covered his body. In the pain of Rod and his daughter, he became a rock pillar. And in the distance, the vice city of Solova, baptized by fire, it's gone. That's an interesting story. Abraham is a real historical figure, but because of the age, all the miracles in him, it's impossible to verify. How to verify it from the side? What about the authenticity of the Old Testament stories? Or to confirm the existence of God? Did a miracle happen? Then finding Sodoma becomes important evidence. Record in employment. Sodom is located southeast of the Dead Sea. 2022, an archaeological team follows the direction recorded. I really found an ancient city. This ancient city is huge. Looking at the record area, it must have been very brilliant. After identification, this ancient city was built over 3,000 years ago. Overnight. And the strange thing is that there are many in the ruins. Glass grains formed by melting sand. This question. We were in an ancient nuclear war. It was explained in detail. Only the high temperatures generated by nuclear explosions to make the sand have meteorite collisions. The Mohenjo of India, the same thing happened. As mentioned above, it may have really recorded some exceptional housework exists. After the destruction of Sotomagu city, Yabra Khan's wife Sarah, she actually gave birth to a baby According to the agreement, the child called the above. As soon as the child is born, some people are happy. Some people, however, are worried. This time, the roles of the two happen to be reversed. You are Mary's mother. You could have been a mother and a child. But now, Sarah has a child of her own. Then my life will definitely not be easy. After all, I am a handmaid. Identity and status are not as formal as time goes by. Problems between two girls and two children. More and more until obvious. One day, when Mary got close to Abraham, Sarah happened to see it. Several people stand looking at each other. Sarah turned away angrily, and Abraham catches up. Quarrel. Salad allowed him to determine the future heir. If a decision cannot be made, he went to God to ask. In the end, his own son, can you become the heir to the tribe? Abraham was very upset. He likes both children very much. He can't make a choice either. At this time, God in heaven already knows all this. Angels were sent that night. Inform the servant. Get him out of here and go to another land of heroes. There, Giagia will also become the mother of a country. His children are 10, and Marxism will give birth to 12 will become the leader of the family. The truth is just as recorded in the Old Testament. Yabra Khan's two children, the above became the ancestors of the Jews. Ismail became the ancestor of the Arabs. The two ethnic groups inherited two powerful religious beliefs. One was ancient Judaism, one is Islam. And many years after, Songjuo gave Abraham the ultimate test. This test is to dedicate his only son, Isapare, currently employed. This account is rather controversial. Some believe it was God's final test for him. Others think it's Abraham. To express one's beliefs, take the initiative to hit your own child. But it ended better. In Taji County, the angel of God replaced Ezra with a lamb. God was also moved by his Jixi, while Jablanhan kept his son. Passed the final test, he really became the father of a great nation. His descendants are as numerous as the stars in the sky. And among his many descendants, a child named Jacques appeared. Jacob triumphs in wrestling with the angel. The angel is very happy. He immediately gave him the name of Israel. This section, we were talking about three big things. The relationship is explained in detail. It won't expand here. After Abraham died, famine drove the Israelites away from the land they should came to Egypt. Here they became slaves to the Pharaoh. Egypt enslaved them for 400 years. God doesn't know where these 400 years have gone. No prophet can contact him. Yabra Khan. And God has become a distant memory. So that's it. Many people are concerned about the existence of God. One big question. If God exists, why did his people always being driven from their homes? But if he doesn't exist, why at different times there will be so-called miracles or artifacts? Help him. Take back your home. Jews at different times did see it with their own eyes. Prophet with skyfire, lightning cracks, and other miracles led the Jews to victory over a powerful enemy. These thoughts and the flowers of the gods let the Jews always believe the Creator is. It exists. The Old Testament was God's final covenant to them. So they think, contact without God. It must be because he broke the contract. Who is angry? Whoever is angry will be invaded by foreigners. When you can contact God, it is because of their own ethnic group. Have a strong and pure belief, and follow the provisions of the contract to live a step by step. But to an outsider, that's not the case anymore. The entire rescue appears. You will find a pattern. God appears in fits and starts. It's like the network is unstable. God will often go offline. Or is it often because of business trips? God should be busy every day anyway. record. He doesn't have time to stare at his people every day. The feeling of people's existence. Just like the game app on your phone. When addicted, you have to open it and play it every day. I don't want to play it for a while. And take a look every 3 to 5. Does it feel like this? And this also led to the Jews, often expelled from promises. Just go out, wandering around. So everybody, don't question this question again. Since God has chosen you, why are you still suffering like this? The reason, in the final analysis, is that God is disconnected. Among the Jews who were enslaved by the Egyptians, another important prophet emerged. That's Moses. Moses, in the rescue account, was because of the Egyptian priests. It was predicted there will be a great prophet among the Jews. He will overthrow the Pharaoh. So Egypt slaughtered a large number of Jews in an area. The creature of Moses, to save him from this disaster, put it in the Nile. Rescued and adopted by an Egyptian princess, also named him Moses. It means to be rescued from the water. Only 20 years later did Moses find out I am not a child of the Pharaoh. On the contrary, he turned out to be the son of a slave. He walked into the slaves' quarters, lost in thought. When he saw these tortured people, he was very sad. There was an Egyptian whipping at random, cursing a Jewish slave. Hear the cries of fallen slaves. Moses is angry, can't stand it anymore. Killed the abusive Egyptians directly. After coming to his senses, Moses also and the brother who grew up with him, Pharaoh Ramses II of Egypt. After Moses fled, it is impossible to pose a threat to himself. I didn't send anyone to chase after it. On the other hand, Moses successfully lived here for the southwest mountain, until one day, the thorns outside the tent spontaneously ignited. The God who spoke to Abraham appeared again. What's next? We were in the previous film, Ark. It was explained in detail. I won't repeat it here. Is everyone interested? You can go and watch past videos. The scorpion who returned to Egypt asked Pharaoh to release his people, but Pharaoh said, "Don't scare me with anyone. If your God really exists, then you can let me take a look. I just wanted to see with my own eyes how God hid me. You have this request. Then how can I not satisfy you? After all, I am also God's chosen man." Therefore, with the help of God, Moses unleashed the real disaster. Killed the Pharaoh's son. Finally, the Egyptians believed that their gods had really returned. Their gods are real. Humans cannot fight against God. And here's the thing, none of the Egyptian gods returned. This is strange. There were hundreds of gods in Egypt who didn't show up. And the Jews have only one God. This God appeared. Can't anyone fix this thing? So there was nothing the Pharaoh could do. They released the people of Moses. Moses leads the people. Resign practice with God on the southwest hills. And date with an artifact. Go to the right place again. Unfortunately, I didn't reach my destination. He entrusted all his people to Zia. What happens next? We used to be in a dating video. Have been explained in detail. What blows open the Red Sea? Lay down the horn of the angel of God. Is this the Eligo walls or something? Just take a look. In the blink of an eye, 100 years after the death of that time, the 12 tribes of Israel, foreigners often invade them. Due to the lack of Moses and binding such an outstanding leader, the Israelis are being bullied badly. God has gone nowhere in 100 years. Until one day, God came online again. God sent a messenger to find a man named the Lady of Manoah. Tell him that God will bestow blessings. Let him have a son born with supernatural powers. He will grow up to be the leader of the tribe. He will serve in the affairs of Israel. He will also lead the Israelites out of the darkness. From now on, you're not allowed to eat that dirty food anymore. And when he was born, he named him Samson. That fact was a very important position in ancient Israel. Can participate in various trials and military operations. The position is equivalent to our ancient generals. The angel of God told Manoah before leaving, "Your children are a gift from God. The secret to his greatness lies in his hair. This child can never cut his hair for the rest of his life. Without his hair, he would also lose the power of God." After a while, Manoah gave birth to a son. 20 years later, the chosen one, Samson, became a fact of ancient Israel. He was born with supernatural powers. You can kill a lion with your bare hands. He is also, as prophesied, led his people to repel the Philistines. But Samson, and finally, still became the most tragic general in history. The reason is lust. He fell in love with a dusty woman. This woman was bribed with silver coins. During a night practice, he revealed Samson's secret. When Samson was exhausted from practicing the technique, he secretly cut Samson's hair. From then on, he had no powers. Samson, without power, also blinded by soldiers. He was conquered in 3 or 2 strokes. He felt it in his anger. God's will. God restores his power. He knocked down the stone pillar and perished with the enemy. After, the first king in the history of Israel appeared. His name was Saul. After Saul was promoted by the fact that Sam became the first leader of ancient Israel. Under his leadership, United Israel initially launched an attack on Philip and achieved the final victory. The former ginseng drove away Phyllis, and Saul defeated Phyllis. So when Saul gained power, getting cocky, he no longer follows the orders of the fact. Even if Sam moves out of the profession of God, Saul still goes his own way. His conflict with Sam is growing. Eventually, Sam left him too. At this moment, God's will came down again. Let Sam go to Bethlehem, looking for a new heir to the throne. Here are the results. And he meets a young shepherd named David. And he goes to David. Your appearance foreshadows the imminent change of power in Israel. Who prepared you? You are about to be the brightest heart on the throne. And David enlisted and became invincible all the way through thorns, received the love of the people. His cry was louder than King Saul at the time. Saul was also afraid of losing his throne. He started preparing to kill David with his stepmother. And David, with the help of Saul's daughter, escaped smoothly. Saul saw that his daughter had betrayed him. When he got angry, he killed all the priests. Not a single one was spared. Soon after, Saul led his army into battle. God cannot give precise tactical orders. His own god of war, David, also discussed, who was unusable, ended up dying on the battlefield. David also became the second king of ancient Israel. But so is David's personal life. Pretty fierce. In memory, he had 8 wives and 11 sons. One of the wives is extremely important. Call 8888. Was originally the wife of David's best brother, Uriah's life. They are all fighting for their good brother David. So 88 keep an empty room all year round. Big Eater, in one thought, accidentally found 88 who was taking a shower. This voyeur makes the Big Eater fall in love late at night. The two of them also practiced the peerless technique 88 together. Also fell under this kingship. Soon, he was pregnant with a baby with a big stomach. Kind of thing? Surely no one can find out, especially don't let God find out. So David came up with a solution. Take the good brother Uriah, who fought outside, recruited back to the city. But Uriah said, "You've been fighting outside all year round. Wife alone in an empty room. That doesn't work. You have to treat your wife well tonight." And it turns out that Uriah was a very upstanding person. He practiced with his wife during the war. Make superiors angry, resulting in the loss of the war. Defeat. He has no face to face his good brother, the Big Eater King. The loneliness of the Big Eater King. So he has a heart. I took a picture of Uriah. The result is as expected. Uriah died on the battlefield. Daweh euphemistically calls it taking care of a pair. Received 88. After half a year, 88 will successfully David's wait very for the next child. You think you fooled God. He also deceived his own people. But all of this is in the eyes of God. God commanded the priests to tell David. Due to David's failure, God decided to take back this child's life and warn David. Do something unsafe in the future. Destroy the dynasty he owns. If he repents completely, God will give this child to him again. So after the child died, David also realized a truth. What you do, God sees it all. From then on, he followed God's will, and they went out on a mission and threw the laurel back to Jerusalem. He also designed a magnificent palace for Laurel. The king of Big Eaters also announced Judaism is the only state religion of their people. God, Jehovah from now on. It is the only religion of the Israelites. David and 88, as God said, gained another son. This son, it was also the first of the ancient United Kingdom of Israel. Demon Solomon. When Solomon came to power, he abandoned his faith, of the soul, signed a contract with the demon god Lil. During his reign, he drove 72 demons to be invincible. Later, he collaborated with Egypt, the strongest Yontai kingdom in history. In fact, God had expected all before he came to power. God told Solomon through sacrifices, keep him away from outsiders. You must marry in your own family to prevent temptation to follow foreign gods. As a result, Solomon not only married an Egyptian princess, visited with many foreign women. Just as God expected, he forsook Jehovah because of these women. He built magnificent altars to foreign gods. God is very angry. Gossiped twice in front of the door, said to him angrily, you disobeyed my orders. Breach contract. Failure to abide by the contract I made with you. I will take away your country. But for the sake of your father's Big Eater, I won't do it in your lifetime. I will take the country from your son. I will abide by the agreement with your father. Leave a tribe for his son. And with these words, the Lord disappeared. After Solomon's death, the country was really divided. The Jewish kingdom was divided Israel into the north and southern Israel. Since then, they have been disunited. Again, Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon was enslaved. Their God disappeared again. The life of slavery made many Jews abandon their beliefs. However, there are still a few who insist on believing in God. Nebuchadnezzar tried to crush their faith. I made an idol, forcing them to kneel before a new life. In the crowd, 3 Jews refused to kneel before other gods. I believe that only the gods I believe is real. All other gods are fictional. Nebuchadnezzar said defiantly, if the guy you believe in is real, you quickly pray that he will descend his true body. Save you. When he said that, he got angry and lit a bonfire. He pushed the 3 men into the bonfire. The 3 kept begging and praying in the fire, begging the gods and soldiers to save the suffering Jews. The magic happened again. God is on the line again. He really appeared in the fire, protected the 3 people alive. This also shocked Nebuchadnezzar. He can't be confident. He put his hand into the flame. The burning pain made him understand their gods really performed miracles, rescued his own colony. The Jews who knelt around stood up. They also understand who is back again and again. Although Nebuchadnezzar retained their faith, but nothing has changed. The identity of their catch, the return of God this time. Another fairy named Dairy was chosen. God gossips in front of Daily. Tell him to lead his people. Return to the promised land with the relics left behind. Then the Persian king defeated Babylon. And the Persian king who settled in Babylon. It doesn't limit everyone's beliefs. This led to daily being framed by foreigners in time. The king of Persia sentenced him to throw him in the crater. But the king of Persia felt that something was wrong. You may have made a serious mistake. He quickly ordered the soldiers to open the prison door as the torches shine and the muffled roar of the lion. The king of Persia saw the door behind the bullet jacket. Face the lion with your hands flat. And two fierce lions hovered around him. Like an ignorant student, close to listening to teachings. Look at the scene in front of you. The king of Persia thought this was incredible. He looked at this amazing scene in amazement. And at this time, inside, he appears to be quiet. He said to the king of Persia, "Our God is always with us." The Persian king faced the heart of the gods. I also felt deep fear and shock. So, Israel has once again begun its journey back home. The sacred artifacts that were plundered also returned by the Persian king's illness. And that's the story of the rescue. Further down to the new moon, Christ. The story in this video just picked a few key stories in the order of myth and history. There's a lot that isn't covered. For example, we mentioned in the previous Prophet's Vinyl Festival, angels and gods with their Advent scene. And these stories all belong to employment stories. Most of it's important. We have explained it in previous videos. In this movie, I chose to skip. No repetition. Does the old audience sound like it? Feels very boring. Is the movie at the end? Another personal insight. The God in this job. It's sort of immaterial, and he's not omnipotent. Everyone must pay attention to this. God is really not omnipotent. At least God can't guess the heart. If he could read people's hearts, the restrictions he selected won't go through so many tests. All the important people who appeared after going through countless tests, God will give the whole handle to the other party to use. The purpose of the test is to confirm, in times of crisis, is the human heart good or evil? Will the chosen one betray themselves? These psychological changes cannot be directly seen by God. It can only be judged by the process and results of the test. Therefore, God is not omnipotent. He can't read the human heart either. Even if he can see all the future, can't judge the sinfulness of the human heart. Because of the changeability of future should also be uncertain. For example, God's chosen pass the test and get the divine fist to rule the people. This shows that God sees his chosen people in the future. Will definitely believe in him. Why else would he choose a prophet? I knew they would betray me. What prophet do you choose? So the future he sees. It should be that the people believe in themselves very much. But the descendants who got the full handle began to fall. Change the future he saw. So the fall of man should be able to change the future he sees. After these people gain power, will you give up your beliefs? This also results in God appearing from time to time. Select new restrictions. Even lower the intention. Let your own people believe again that he is real. So the Creator chooses a prophet. The disappointment will also even if Moses is established, there will still be some people in the world who will give up their beliefs. Is this an indication? The future that the Creator once saw has been changed by people's hearts. So doomsday prophecy. It doesn't have to happen in the real world. Well, history is full of actual kings, sacrificial people. All the pharaohs have seen God manifest as the true God. God is displaying also various gods in front of the people in trace and give various prophecies. So Jews are creationists, because their God will manifest from time to time. So I have always believed in my only belief. I am the universal. My channel explores the universe. Interested friends, mysteries. Remember to see you next time.